Hey Rekha, it's so lovely seeing you today. I think we worked together for almost a year, and it's so nice to see you graduate, Rekha. How does it feel to be here?
Hey, hi, Srividya. Thank you so much for for this whole graduation. Getting here is like a huge milestone for me personally, I feel, because I think the same time last year, I remember that I had given you a call, and I was in a total state of, helplessness when I was calling you. I would say that, I was calling you because the blood reports had just come in and everything was also less, and I was panicking from within and I didn't know how to go about it at all. So for me, at this point, when I look back and look back at my journey, today it's it's something that's been, for me, when I look back, it's kind of, it's very, I don't know what to say. I'm short of words, but it's been a great journey, great learning, and it has been, great working with you, Srividya, so far. And a lot of lessons learned for me and a lot of perspective change would what I would say. So I'm feeling super excited, super elated, and looking forward to a lot. So that's what I'm feeling right now.
Thank you so much, Rekha. I mean, it's really a very surreal moment for me as well to see you in this space, such a happy space. You look amazing. You look very healthy. I know the first call when you reached out, you were lacking strength, and the other thing was also the blood markers. Primarily, you had anemia, and your I think hemoglobin was in the 6 or 7. I mean,
Yeah.
right? I mean, very low numbers, and you were really concerned. And that's what prompted you to kind of take a holistic view of your lifestyle and see about going through a lifestyle change. So I really appreciate your trust and confidence in me, Rekha, and for going through the program one round and then taking a short break and also feeling the confidence to come back to me, right? I mean, that speaks volumes about how the program has been working very well for you, and that's amazing feedback, Rekha. Thank you so much. So what we're going to do now is just go back in time and kind of recount the journey together. I think it's going to be an awe-inspiring and a very, very amazing experience, having this conversation with you. So are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Nice. Okay, so Rekha, can you just take a couple of minutes to share a few words about yourself, your profile, basically?
So I am a mother of two. I have two children who are also, I mean, I have a son and a daughter. The older one is about 9 years old. The younger one is about 6 years old. In general, a lot of things at home that needs to be taken care of from a childcare standpoint and all of that. And so earlier, I also work as a software engineer, and I had been working out. So I took like a career break in between post my daughter's birth, and that is the time I was exploring workouts because I had gotten into postpartum depression. And also I read that the best cure for postpartum depression is working out, moving around. And I think that I joined the unit about while I was on the break, and working out actually gave me a lot of relief from all of these postpartum symptoms that I was having. And I reduced a lot of weight. I was a part of all of these powerlifting competitions and all of that. But what happened post that is I met with an accident, which I had like a shoulder injury post that. And then I stopped working out. And a lot of things came in from a personal standpoint. Also, my in-laws were unwell. My second child, she was going through a lot of health issues, and there was multiple things going on, and I couldn't focus a lot on myself at that point of time. So that is when I think all of the other things, like with respect to nutrition, activities and everything, started going down, and I started feeling a little less confident than what I was before. And finally I was at a stage where for me doing my day-to-day things in itself was something that was a big difficulty for me. So this is like the background of what I was, and then how things started kind of dwindling for me. And I was totally out of energy, and I took up a new job also at that point of time. And putting them all together, it was something that I wasn't able to handle. And that was where I was feeling so very helpless. And that's when I called you, Srividya. That was like the 911, the help me call basically. So that's a little bit of background about myself before the program.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Rekha. Yeah, I remember, I mean, you were just juggling and handling too many things, and plus throw in few more life stressors, right? Just made it incredibly difficult for you to focus on yourself. And that's when your health took a beating. And like you said, I mean, it was a wake up call, and you said, I've got to do something about it, right? I mean, great work there in terms of your of a proactive mindset there, Rekha. Really appreciate it. And because of that small step, look where you are today, right? And so let's talk about what specifically was going on for you in terms of challenges before you joined the program.
So the biggest thing that I would say was more of how I felt. So the way that I felt about myself, I didn't have like a good feeling about myself. I was completely not confident. I was not feeling up to it. I had several anxiety related bouts of anxiety for every single thing that was there. I was also going through medication. There was a lot of things that I was dealing with at that point of time. And that coupled with nutritional issues, like as you said earlier, you had called out earlier, my blood count was around, I think hemoglobin was around 6.5. It got up to 7. It never got beyond 7.5 for me, how much ever I tried. And my B complex levels were low. Vitamin D was low. Calcium was low. I didn't have any specific issues from a health point, but from a nutritional standpoint, the blood markers very clearly stated that I'm not being taking care of myself from a food standpoint. And and I think all of this mixed together, there was a point where everybody in my family and also people who are looking at me outside of my family and even at work, sometimes they would come and tell me, you look super exhausted all the time. What's going on with your life? I mean, it used to be almost a point where, everybody used to pity, is like, what's going on with you? Are you all right? And those kind of things is, and even, I used to get from my, the organization that I was working, I used to get things like, maybe you need a little bit of rest. Do you need a break? Are you doing okay? So these kind of things, when it comes in, right? One thing is that you feel a certain way. And the other thing is that it is visible to everybody to notice and even kind of give you feedback on that. So that is where I felt very, what's going on with me. I need help that's where this thought crossed my mind. And I was actively looking for places where I can actually, get some guidance around how I can fix this for myself, because I tried and I failed. So that is something, those are the challenges that I'd faced before the program.
Yeah, thank you, Rekha. I mean, just hearing you say this, I mean, it's bringing me back memories about our conversation and, how difficult it was to just exist, a normal life at that point. Children were young, you had work pressures to deal with and also at home and your own personal health, right? It's really a difficult place to be in. So the first time around you joined a 6-month program, right? So if we can talk about the kind of transformation it brought about in terms of nutrition. I mean, those were the practices that we focused on, right? So nutrition, your movement, your exercise, some of the creative ways in which you incorporated movement. I remember the playing tag with your children, right? I mean, many different things. I'll let you talk about it. So if you can share what happened in those 6 months.
So initially, I think the biggest thing that when I started this program, the biggest hit I would say for me to start with was the 5-minute practice, where it was a very simple thing of like suryanamaskar I couldn't get myself to do anything at that point of time. I was mentally constrained, physically also kind of, I don't know, somewhere since because of this mental constraint, physically also I was kind of putting like a boundary about myself, saying, okay, this is not something that I'm able to do and all of that. But I think that 5-minute practice of just, I think it was a very simple thought in my head, which is like, once you brush your teeth, just ensure that your yoga mat is there. Just do like a couple of, suryanamaskars. It's fine. How much ever we are able to get in, it's fine. And then I saw myself like from one round of suryanamaskar, I started doing like 2 to 3 to 4, and then it ended up to 6, and then I was doing 12. And then I got a confidence in myself that, okay, I can do this. I can spend my time doing this. So I think that's when, that 5 minutes kind of expanded a little bit into 10, 15 minutes, and it started going, increased a little bit. So that from movement standpoint, that was something that was, worked out for me really well. That was one thing. The second thing is from a movement standpoint, right? And I still remember myself, my children would come to me and say, Amma, can you play with me? And I'll be so exhausted. I'll be like, no, what, give me some time. I need to kind of catch a breath or something. And I'd always constantly be telling this. And my children before had remembered me as this tired mom who's always wanting rest and all of that. But I think a lot of this conversations and a lot of this mental, I think, reevaluating my mental space and physical space and all of that, it enabled me to, instead of a 10-minute walk, let's do like a 10-minute tag. And I kind of serve two purposes. So we used to go, my children and I used to go to the terrace, and we used to have like a tag play, and children enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I didn't kind of feel the stress of going through, something mundane as, walking for about 15 minutes or so. Not that walking is mundane, but it's more of, involvement that you have in that when you're playing tag with your children. I think that's about it. And from a nutritional standpoint also, something very simple as, getting like a fistful of greens in your meal. And it didn't, at that point of time, that looked like a big, it was like, I think I remember I gave you like, what's your confidence level? I gave you like a 7, like fistful of green, I don't know. But I still remember going about it, attempting like to get greens ahead of time, kind of prepping for it, and see how I can get that fistful of greens in my meal. That was something, these are very small things. And I think for the first 1 month, these small things, just accomplishing them, right? The tick marks that gave me confidence to kind of expand this whole scope into, the next level. So I think as and when I was going through these 5 minutes practice, I was expanding that into, other things like, maybe de-stressing. From a de-stressing standpoint, is there something that I would want to do? And we talked about playing the guitar, and I started with a guitar stint. And I was playing the guitar, and then drawing with my children was another thing that I did. So I think it cleared up my mind to the extent that I could kind of add on to what the original 5-minute practice was. The original practice was, I was able to add few things to it that kind of also made me feel empowered and confident, I would say.
That's amazing, Rekha. I mean, how you kind of stuck on to that 5-minute practice. Again, it was made very, very simple and doable, and helped you feel confident that, hey, you know what, it's just 5 minutes in my day. I absolutely can spend that time for myself. So, and how you kind of stuck with it, and then it gave you the confidence to kind of scale up also. So a 5-minute practice became like a 30-minute workout kind of a thing, right? And also keeping it very playful and fun. And I remember, I mean, let's talk about your goals, Rekha. When you joined me, what did you want as, what did you want to achieve? What was your goal?
So when I joined your program, the only thing that I wanted was some kind of an energy to actually get through the day. Let me just get through the day. I just need to get through the day without any, energy loss or feeling fatigued or feeling like, feeling so angry. Sometimes when we are not able to get through the day, we are kind of angry with ourselves and also with people around and all of that. And fitness level was the only thing that I had in my mind. And I was also, weight loss was something that was on I wouldn't call that as a major thing on my mind. Somewhere I felt that I could do it, but the fitness was the only thing that kind of was on my mind. And more towards, I think, pointers and thoughts about how I can have like this holistic, after looking at my nutritional markers and all of that, like how do when I came in, it was more from a nutritional aspect. But I think I gained a lot more than just the nutritional aspect of it. It was a holistic experience as such. So yeah, so that was my first goal when I came in.
Yeah, so the goal, sorry, go ahead, Rekha.
Yeah, no, that's what I had. So from a goal standpoint, I think, so when I started the conversations with you, it was more around, how do I plan my workouts? How do I plan my food and those kind of things? But I think towards the end, it was an entirely different dimension, actually. I mean, something that was like, just, nutrition, just exercise. That is a part of a holistic living is what I understood after working with you. But there's a lot more to it than just, making sure that, a lot of these small intricacies that I figured out about myself, I learned about myself, like the all or nothing mindset that I had in mind. Have a nutrition, even if a portion of it is missing, like if there is carbs and proteins and all, something is missing, I don't feel like a failure, right? I feel like, okay, it's okay. Today, this is the situation. You made the best use of it. Tomorrow, you're going to get back on track. So kind of, and even from a workout standpoint, and if I'm not in a position to do like, one rep, if there are 3 sets that I will need to be doing and I'm not able to do, like I'm able to do only 1 set, I used to feel very bad about myself, and that would impact my confidence. And the next day showing up becomes difficult for me. But now that I don't feel. So the thing is that it's not just about, the regular, it's not just workout and food and all of that. It's more to do with mindset and that experience in itself, how that makes you feel, your relationship with the workout, your relationship with the food. That's a lot of insights there, I would say, during the program.
Wow, amazing to hear you speak that, Rekha. I mean, so if I were to summarize, the goals you were looking for was to get out of that anemia, right? Improve your blood markers, improve your strength, your energy levels, and the ability to, go through your day without fatigue, and be able to handle your professional commitments also, right, with energy, and also be able to play with your kids. Right. I think
Yes.
these were the goals that you came with, and you're saying that you gained much more,
Right.
From the program. So let's
Right.
talk more about what are all the amazing things you gained. So the first step was around mindfulness and self-awareness, right? How did that help you, Rekha?
So mindfulness and self-awareness, as I had mentioned, right, there was a lot of things about myself that I thought, first of all, there was this mindset with me where I know I've spoken about it to you also earlier, where I felt like I was doing a lot more earlier. So I compare myself today with myself in the past, and I'm like, you know what, I did this. I could do, pull-ups, I could do this, but, post now I am not able to do anything. And the thought in itself is something that kind of makes you feel so horrible about, why am I not able to do this? And that's a question that keeps popping into your head. And every time when I'm doing like, instead of 3 sets, I'm doing 1 set, immediate minds that it travels to the past and said, you used to do this. Remember, you used to do this. Now you're not doing it. And it becomes more like, someone reprimanding you, like, telling you, oh, you did it. You haven't done it yet. You're not able to do this. And I think that was the kindness that, with which you talk to yourself. I think there was a lot of change that I saw over there. And when I started, it was that, and I know it took several sessions for me, and I spoke about this to you, and I keep comparing myself as to, I did this, I'm not able to do this. I used to beat myself up completely. But now I know for a fact that, okay, that's in the past. And now given all of this that you have, and the environment that I was there earlier is not the same as it is now. So there's a lot of variables that are there. So given all of these variables, how have I, set myself up for success? So those are the things that I keep looking at. So that is a huge mindset change. And little things about, all or nothing mindset, every day when I set up my plate and when I'm thinking, okay, I say, for example, I'd forgotten sprouts, prepping the sprouts, or I didn't foresee the amount or something of that sort. It used to kind of immediately come to me as, what, this is something you should have looked into, something that can be done better. But I feel like, it's not a daily thing that we need to keep tracking. It's like a holistic, it's a time period where, every day it's fine here and there. Holistically, how does that make you feel? That is a couple of things. And I know I've spoken to you about my relationship with the weighing scale also. I used to hate the weighing scale. I used to be afraid of it, more from a perspective of, it's going to show me a higher number and I'm going to get all worried about it. Let me not even look at the weighing scale. But today, I still don't look at the weighing scale, but for different reasons. The reason is because I know how I feel. I feel good. I know from a nutrition standpoint, I'm good. If I need to look at the scale, I can look at the scale, but I choose not to. That is where I have changed that mindset. So I see those were the few key things that I think over the time I was able to gather during the period. There's a lot more small things, but this one kind of stands out for me through the journey.
Thank you so much, Rekha. That's amazing to hear that. In terms of mindset shifts, right? You moved away from an all or nothing mindset, quitting rigid rules and perfectionism, right? It's okay. Consistency doesn't mean 100% consistency, right? It's okay largely if I'm able to plate my meals, or if I'm able to show up for my workout, bare minimum stuff, right? Move just a little bit more. Keeping things simple and doable helped you show up more for those, right? And also quitting this kind of rigid rules, being very kind to yourself, compassionate to yourself if there was a setback, and seeing that as an opportunity to do it better the next time. Yes, I get another opportunity. My next meal can be better, right? How do I do it better? So definitely huge mindset shifts there, and also letting go of limiting beliefs, right? We ourselves put a lot of limits to our potential, right? We can we can handle so many challenges, we can overcome so many things, and we still can be very, very successful, but it's our own mind that puts that block. And you've been able to kind of challenge it and overcome so many of those in this journey, Rekha. Hats off to you. Seriously, I mean, you're such a strong and resilient woman. I just saw that life web that you shared. You're scoring big on resilience. Resilience has amazingly improved. So the other thing you talked about is relationship with food. I mean, that is one thing that we focused on, which is getting away from the scarcity mindset and allowing yourself permission to eat what you want and doing it slowly, right? So can you tell me any successes you have seen there, Rekha? How are you doing with your relationship with food?
So my relationship with food was more of a checklist item for me, something that was there on my list. I need to get it through in the afternoon. I need to get it through in the morning, and I need to get it through as soon as possible because there are other things in my life that I need to look into. So food was like a very, something I need to get it done kind of a item that was there in my list always. So I have never been very mindful about food and all of that. And from perspective of, see, for example, the weight and all of that, when you look at it, I'll be like, sugar, no sugar. Let's make the carbs less. Mix. So there's a lot of questions and when you're eating also, and with that 5 minutes or whatever the time I'm eating, I'm constantly questioning what I'm eating. It's more of, oh, are you eating too much carbs right now? Or did you add sugar? So there's a lot of questions, and there is, at the end of the meal, you're just so glad that you get that done. There's so much of discomfort, right? So I think that has shifted. I think many folds, I would say. It's been a journey of about a year, and from there, today, how I see food is more around, an activity that I do for myself. So I have kind of blocked out time on my calendar. I do have few things like, I have my own plate. That's one thing.
Nice.
First, I remember that, those moodies that which you close the sambar and rasam with that used to serve as a plate. It's like, okay, that's there on top, put some food and then get it done with. And so now I have my own plate and I have my own salad bowl and then I have my own glass. So that gives me like a feeling of, this is mine, my food, and everything is there, all set up. And this practice of eating slowly, right? So when I checked myself earlier, it was like 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, quickly eat the food. But with 5 minutes, including it, increasing it was not possible for me unless I added something like a salad to it. So then I started adding sprouts and curds and see how much I can increase the time. And then I think over the time, I realized that the more time we take to eat, the more balanced the plate is. It's kind of directly proportional. So I started plating it in a way where I can take time to finish the food. So it's more of, so that way what happened was, it was salads were there, fruits were there, proteins were there. And, my favorite foods were also there. And I wasn't feeling like, it was a punishment or something. There was like too much of carbs, too much of things. Because when I'm paying attention to what I'm eating and how it feels, and it gives you, each food actually kind of emotionally takes you back somewhere, where, oh, this curd rice is something I remember my school days. This mango is something I remember grandma's house. So every time when you have that food, it is an experience. So I feel like, there's a lot of change from that 5 minutes of hurry burry checklist to and I would say an activity that I did do for myself. It's more of a self-care regime, I would say, that now I'm looking forward to lunchtime. It's more of my lunchtime is here. Let me just settle down. Let me just calm down and have that food. So it kind of also has an impact on our children, because it's something that kind of also goes to them. They also kind of feel like, okay, food is a time where we all sit and eat, and they learn, they watch and learn. So it became like a family activity with kids also. So so this is a relationship with my food, a drastic change. It was a slow process, but it eventually changed, and I'm happy that it did.
Super, Rekha. I mean, you've come a really, really long way to eating for 5 minutes to almost 20 minutes, right? And the most important thing is you started enjoying the experience of eating, not because you had to do it and it was a chore, but because this is something that is it's providing you with a lot of nourishment, and not just for your body, but for your soul also. You were able to connect certain types of foods and understand the relationship you had with, let's say, curd rice or mango, or different kinds of food. It takes you back. So basically just fixing an appointment for yourself with your food and really relishing that experience, right? And it was also important for you to teach these to your children, right? And what best way to do it by actually doing it, and children learn by seeing you do it, right?
Yeah.
It's really nice how you were able to incorporate that in your children, and most importantly, given your busy schedule, to even come forward with that mindset to even blocking time for yourself. I mean, that was a big challenge initially, but you made it happen, Rekha, right?
Yeah.
You're constantly thinking about work commitments and, oh my God, I have this meeting, that meeting. And slowly you got the confidence to do this for yourself. So I would say big marks to you for drawing boundaries and pushing back. That is something that we worked on, Rekha, right?
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about that, how useful it was for you?
So the boundary setting was something that I had always struggled with, and I still struggle with. I'm learning a lot in that area. But I would say self-care, it takes, like, we all know theoretically that, self-care takes number one priority. But as and when we navigate through the day, somewhere that whole thing gets lost. It's more like, somewhere it doesn't happen. So the one thing that really helped me was I got myself a planner. And again, this is a part of the 5 minutes practice that I had. So it came to, and it started with a very simple thing of just writing in the morning. When you get up, just write something about what you want to do in the day or something of that sort. And I think that gradually kind of increased, and it manifested into something like writing a planner. And then finally I was searching for the best planner that would suit my lifestyle, and I found something that kind of, compartment, I wouldn't call it compartmentalized, but more of dividing into, work related plan, self-care related plan, and then, family related plan. How do we, and when I am able to see my day on a planner, I'm able to kind of visualize, okay, this is what I want to do. So now self-care was on my mind, and the fact that, we've spoken about it, lunch is something that I wanted to get to that 20-minute, so that goal was there. How do I get there? So I put that in a planner first, and I think that is when I started blocking off time for myself, whatever that self-care bucket, whatever I had put it in, I consciously went back to my calendar and I started blocking that across several, during the day, in between meetings. And if it does, something is coming in between, I was able to, so that comes from, all of these boundary conversations that we've had and all. This is also important. So when we look at it and you see that, okay, this is coming into my lunchtime, let me just move things up and down and see how I can get that in. And if it's fine, it's fine if we are doing it like a couple of hours later, the world is not breaking. Have the food, let's do it a couple of hours later. It's fine. So I think that getting to that in itself, I think it took me a long time, basically. And this planner also helped me visualize this. So I could see how much I can. Am I overcommitting? Am I, even from a work standpoint, if I am overcommitting and I don't have time to eat, it means that I'm not balanced that enough. So it gave me a chance to reorganize things. So I think it's more, I would say, this planner had helped me big time. So now it has come to a point where people are like, you know what, if you want something done from Rekha, just get it in her planner, she'll get it done. So it's like on my planner, I prioritize and get that done. So it's more of like
very well done, Rekha. I mean, it did start as a 5-minute action, and it brought a lot of structure and system to your day.
Yes.
And you're a very visual person. You like visualizing things and planning, right? So that way also writing it down actually helped you visualize the day and schedule time for yourself.
Right.
So I remember, I think it even had like colorful stickers and all that to motivate yourself, right? I remember like good job and a star and all that. Gold star. Nice. So time management was something that it largely helped with, right? The journaling. And also, let's talk about the lack of control that you felt, Rekha, which primarily gave way to that anxiety and the panic attacks that you felt, right? So I think that this 5-minute action of journaling, right, gave you such a sense of control. So can you talk about how it impacted you in terms of mental and emotional health, Rekha?
Sure. So the thing is that when I started this 5-minute practice, and I know we were trying to discuss about what can you do next, what do you want to do? So now that this yoga thing is done and that's pretty much going well, what is the next 5-minute practice that you want to take up? And for me, writing has always been one of the things that I've always been passionate about. So I wanted to try out writing. I think it started from there. What would you like to do? I would like to write something. What would you like to write? I mean, I was thinking about, okay, maybe just at least planning my day. You start from there. But the amount of impact that it had on my entire day, it wasn't like, so the boundaries, and we spoke about it in the previous conversation also, it's more of what happens is when we don't have a visual of what is going on in the day, there is a lot of encroachment. I think it's more of people take the time for granted, my time for granted in general. That like, and we give in because we don't have that structure in the day, and I've given in. I'll be like, you know what, next thing, if somebody comes up with something and they're like, no, I don't need, let us do this, let us do that, let's do this, I would accommodate it for sure. And over the time it was getting overwhelming, and I was not able to handle it because there were like too many requests coming in at a time. I had overcommitted. I'd done a lot of mistakes around those areas. And when I look back and see how my calendar looked, right, there was no time for lunch. There was no time for break. It used to start off very early, go on until late night. And I used to keep having these calls and everything in the night also. So the thing is that the way that I kind of when we write something down in a planner, and when we timeline it, and kind of the most important tasks, kind okay tasks, and when we kind of timeline it and prioritize it, look at it, there is only so much that anybody can do on a particular, and it's perfectly understandable unless you're able to communicate it. And when I tried it the first time, it was so empowering. I was like, I can say no. It's like, it's not, I don't have space in my calendar. I will get back to it, but I can't do it today. When I say that, it is so empowering to say, just say no. So I think that in itself, I think, it kind of pushed me to do more. And it started from there. And now I'm able to get a lot of my things in, but at the same time, I'm not kind of, impacting the other people that I'm working with. I'm not kind of delaying. So I have my own, post-graduation course going on. I have my own other courses going on. I moved into a new role, and I have additional things at home that I'm looking into. All of that together, I'm able to plan it. And I know for the next 1 week, this is what my calendar is going to look like. And I have a better sense of control over it. So I'm not going through those anxiety and panic attacks. There are still, sometimes when things are heated up. But I know, I tell myself that it's a temporary thing. Breathe, just, it'll be fine. And it's more of relaxation techniques and breathing patterns and meditation and all of those things that kind of brings me back in. But the thing is, it's overall, I think, a lot of control from what I had earlier on my day in itself. I am like surprised at myself, right? That I am capable of doing so much, actually.
Nice. Good place to be in, Rekha.
Yeah.
So if you were to rate yourself in terms of, on a scale of 1 to 10, right? How would you rate your stress before the program, and where are you now? 10 being not stressed at all, 1 is on the verge of an emotional breakdown.
So my stress levels before the program, if there is a number above 10, I would give that also. It's kind of over the roof. It was that bad. And it wasn't just stress from external, it's a self-induced stress also that we put on. Oh my God, I'm not able to work. I'm doing a lot of things. I'm doing this. There's a lot of noise in the head, I think. And that went into a lot of, it's a usually spiraling down kind of an emotion where it starts somewhere and then spirals, and then you hit rock bottom. That used to be a very frequent affair. It used to kind of spiral down. I used to hit highest anxiety levels. And then this used to be like a pattern for me, a very regular pattern. But now if you look at it, I'm off the meds. I'm completely okay now. I feel like I have a handle over my stress, and I won't say I'm stress free, but what I would say is I have a control over it. I know that, even if I'm stressed, I know I can manage it. So I have that confidence in me. So there is no spiraling down. It's somewhere it stops. That is somewhere, it's a huge shift, I would say. And now at this point of time, stress levels are there, but it's manageable. So I would give it like even two or two. I'm still learning a lot of things along the way. But I'm much, like, I think more than 100% better than what I was.
Wow. Amazing, Rekha. So really, you were in a really, really bad shape in terms of stress levels and also the mental and emotional health. And you're doing so much better now. The most important thing is, the challenges are not going away. They are going to be there, but you're able to manage it better because of all these tools and systems and structure that you've put in place in terms of planning, visualization, dedicating some time for yourself, journaling, writing, and separating out most important tasks versus, the not so important tasks. What is negotiable, what is non-negotiable, pushing back, drawing boundaries. Way to go, Rekha. Amazing progress there. Now, let's talk about your planning and prepping efforts. Let's talk about the prep girl, and how, how prepping is really helping you, it's saving the day for you.
So when I started this program, I didn't have any help at home. I started off And I didn't know, first of all, even if I had help, I didn't know how to go about it. What do I do with the help is something that I didn't know. So as and when we were talking through the program about, having some greens, I think that was the first conversations we had, like having greens in the meal. And for me, that in itself was something like, okay, how do I do this? Where do I slot this cutting vegetables and putting it in? So I think I found time, and then gradually it moved towards, hiring a help who could do that for me. And as and when I started moving about work and other things, I could hire someone, a permanent cook, who could help me with all of these kind of a thing. So I knew what I wanted. So I was able to communicate that clearly and get all of that done for me. So that was one aspect of it. And even in between, right? I mean, there has been, like, house helps that they come and go and all of that. But when we have the plan set in our mind, I think how many other people change or whatever, I think we can accommodate it. So there was a point where I didn't have cooks, but then I kind of settled down for someone, a prep girl. So this prep girl, I was just telling somebody, I was telling her, I think, like a day before yesterday, we were out of sprouts. So in the salad, she incorporated rajma. And I was like, way to go.
Oh, nice. She's learning.
Different protein sources now. I'm so proud of you. So it's like, now she's like, okay, rajma is not there. Let me put sprouts. So sprouts is not there. Let me put chana. This green is not there. So she's able to think now. So all of that, I put her in charge of my salads, my shakes, and prepping for anything that's required for the week, right? Like cutting, soaking the dal, and then prepping. My children now, since they started going to school, they take like protein cutlets as a snack. So she preps for the snack, and then she puts it in the freezer. So every weekend, like Saturday and Sunday, it's like a routine thing where we go and we look at, grinding all of these batters, like the millet batter, the ada batter, which is like lentil dosa and all of that. That is all done. That is all prepped. And so she knows, like Saturday she comes in, she's like, okay, all the mouse is all prepped and kept in the fridge. Then Sunday she comes and she's like, all the things are bought, and she chops all the vegetables and she keeps that ready. She soaks all the legumes and soaks all that, and she keeps it in. And then one thing that really helped me also was an air fryer that I bought. So it's like air fryer that I got. So, all of these air fryer friendly things, these cutlets and stuff, they can be tossed into the air fryer, and then I can put that into the dabbas for the children. And then for me also to include as a food in between. So all of these things, I think it kind of together, all of these preppings that I do on a daily basis. And there's a shake also that we soak in the legumes, the badam and the dates. Since I was anemic, I started including date every day, and then moringa leaves, kind of chopping that a little bit, and grinding it, powdering it, and then putting it in all of the dosas and everything that I eat on a daily basis. So now that everything is there, it's just a matter of assembling things for me on a daily basis. I don't have to give it so much thought. So that's where I felt like, I had things under control, and this girl has helped me through this whole thing. So it's just a matter of putting them together and eating it. That's it. So I think that really helped for me from a process standpoint, and that's in my planner. And every week,
nice.
It's all in my planner.
Yeah, I remember, Rekha, any new habit that you'd bring in, we would use that as a hack, right? Hey, come on, let's put it in the planner, because once it's in the planner, we know you're going to get it done.
Yes.
Nice. And it's amazing how your, helper has picked up all of these things, the nutritional, she's picked up a lot of nutritional awareness. So way to go. And I remember you also included nutritional yeast for the protein as well as the B12.
Yes.
And a combination of all of these greens, and you're amazingly creative, Rekha. I mean, the pictures that you used to send of easy, quick recipes, which are not a compromise on taste as well, right? I mean, they're amazing snacks. The brilliant insights you had that if my meal composition is better, that's going to help me slow down, right? So the more balanced it gets in terms of nutrition, the better you're going to be able to slow down and actually relish the meal, feel satisfied as well as satiated, right?
Right.
Awesome work there, Rekha. Now let's talk about your relationship with your body, right? So who did you see in the mirror before the program, and who do you see now?
So before the program, and as I had mentioned, like I myself felt a little low, and I used to feel low all the time. And added to this, there used to be people about around me, and when I went to some functions, family functions, or even at work, sometimes it would be like, you look exhausted, you don't look yourself. So these kind of comments used to keep coming in and all of that. I think over the time when I started getting things under control, and that kind of shows in all of the activities that we are doing, right? I know for a fact, like we are confident that this time is going to be spent doing this. So you kind of have, so that I think changes the entire perspective, and it clears up a lot of things in your mind. And there's not a lot of these voices that kind of is criticizing you all the time, right? So I think that shows in the face when when you have a handle on yourself and you have invested on self care. It shows. And every time I look into the mirror, I look at it as, even if sometimes when there are like days when my eyes are all puffy and I've got dark circles and all, and I used to kind of my immediate reaction earlier was to what is the product that I can buy in order to cover all of this thing up. But now I do give myself like, credit, like, what you are, you've been through a journey, you've been have two children, and you are working for them, you're working for the family, and there's a lot of things you're doing. So that's why you have this puffy face and you're not been able to sleep. And I kind of feel like, this is something more from an accomplishment standpoint. I look at it more from an accomplishment standpoint. And even people around me, I think, they recently, I told you about this also, where I started getting compliments from work saying you are a you've done a great job. You gained so much. And one of my managers also, they chipped in. They were saying things like, you're the most energetic person in the team that I see today, and you know. You are amazing. How put forth, you bring people alive around you. All these kind of comments
Oh
that
my
come in.
God.
I am so happy about this whole thing. That gives a lot of confidence also in me to kind of to look at me in a perspective that's not kind of sad actually. So it's I think from an energy level perspective, and then from the way that I'm even when the self-talk changes, and I know we worked a lot on the self-talk. And so when the self-talk changes, I think it shows, and I'm able to see that in me. So that's
Wow,
the
how
difference
beautiful,
that is.
Rekha. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this. So, you see a very strong woman when you see yourself in the mirror, somebody who has braved many odds. So, you're looking at things that you're having instead of what you don't have, right? Giving yourself credit
Right.
for what you have done, what you already have.
Right.
And that's helping you in this really difficult journey. I mean, it's going to be hard. Challenges are not going to change. Life is going to throw curveballs, but we do have skills and tools that we can utilize and actually brave them, right?
Right.
Awesome. So can you talk about how stories that you told yourself has shifted now, Rekha? What used to be the story that you repeated to yourself before in terms of self-talk, and how has that changed?
So initially, the kind of talk that I had with myself was more around, you don't have the energy. Don't even try. It's fine. Just give it a pass. It's okay. I mean, it's more of, I think I would say, I would say, like, going to the gym. Like, for example, I wasn't able to do that. But then immediately I put myself in a bucket saying that, what, you won't be able to do this fitness at all. So it is like, you're done. You're not going to do this. That's it. Just, forget about it. And you have other things to do. Just maybe focus on that. So whenever questions like this come, and whenever I feel like I'm faltering in like a particular area, there used to be very, I would say, someone reprimanding me, right, in my head, like kind of telling me, like, what, you are not going to be able to do this. Let's not do this. Let's not even try. Why even trying and failing? That's the kind of thing. But now it has changed to even 5 minutes, if I'm able to walk around, and 5 minutes if I'm able to, I am glad that I was able to get that 5 minutes in. So it's more of just do something, even if it's 5 minutes, it's fine, it's okay. And if I'm not able to do something right, like for example, my prepping has gone wrong somewhere, and somewhere I don't beat myself up for it, saying that, you know what, you could have done this better, you could have done that better. It's like, yes, prepping went wrong, food went wrong, it's okay, it's just a day and you're going to get back. So let's not beat yourself up. And there was times when I used to see this, my mom used to make these rava laddus. And I used to have these rava laddus, and I feel extremely guilty about it. It'll be like, I had rava laddu, now that's it. For the entire day, I'm not having any sugar, any ghee, anything. It's all like all kind of thoughts that goes in. But now I'm like, you know what? I had that rava laddu, I enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I had it at that point of time. If I need more rava laddus, it is there. But at this point of time, I don't need it. So it's kind of, I think that is where the tone, I would say, in the way that I speak to myself has changed drastically. As you said, like the abundance, right? It's not like, you shouldn't eat it. You need not eat. If you don't want to, you don't have to eat it. It's kind of changing the tone is something that has helped me through, it keeps me honest, and it also keeps me happy. Actually, it's like, okay, I'm not beating myself up, so overall it works for me, and I'm glad I kind of changed that.
Absolutely, you did, and and how, right? Amazing work, Rekha. So shifts in your mindset has been like a big transformation in this journey, giving like self-critical tone, giving way to nurturing and a kind and a compassionate tone, breaking or out of your limiting beliefs, right? And also operating with a proactive and a growth mindset, not seeing any setback as a failure, but something that you can bounce back, and building your resilience and strong mental skills in that process, right?
Yeah.
Great show, Rekha. So if you were to name one aha moment in this journey, what would that be?
The biggest aha moment for me that helped me drastically through the whole thing was that the 5 minute practice, and especially around writing that planner. It started off something very, very small, but I think it went leaps and bounds in different areas of my, from planning my day to planning my week, to understanding what I need, understanding what I don't need. So these kind of things, I think it kind of brought in a balance in me. That was like the 5 minute practice for me is something that I will really carry, because it's so simple. 5 minutes, you can do this. 5 minutes workout, you can do this. Then you realize your potential in that 5 minutes, and then you will grow, make that grow. So I think that was something that was amazing from a habit standpoint, incorporating those small things and kind of combining it with another activity that you do anyway, like brushing your teeth and all of that. When we get that synced up, right? It's something that I really, I think it helped me a lot throughout the program. I would say not just the program. I think overall it helped me a lot, do a lot of things differently.
Wow, nice. So, for somebody who wanted to show up for a workout and who had thoughts like, hey, come on, you just give it up, you're not going to be able to do it, to actually, from a place of self doubts to actually believing in yourself. I think that this 5 minute action gave you a lot of self belief, right? Yes, I
Yes.
can accomplish it. I'm not inconsistent, right? That is the story that changed through the program. I
Right.
am consistent. I can be consistent, right? It's just that the task has to be simple and doable and scaled to my lifestyle and what I can manage, and I absolutely can do it, right?
Yes.
Brilliant, Rekha. Now, you've almost come to the end of the conversation. Now, as far as your physical health is concerned, where are you in terms of your hemoglobin now? I mean, you were at 6.5 or 7 when you joined the program, right?
So I am currently at 12.5, and it's something that I have never seen that number ever for a longest period of time. Even when I think when I was pregnant, also I was anemic, post-pregnancy anemic. Anemia has been a story of my life. 12.5 when I've been attacked with COVID. I had COVID, and then my entire family went through COVID stint, and it was a couple of I know as everybody has been through this tough time. My family also went through this tough time, and there was a lot of things going on. But I was able to survive through it. I wasn't fatigued. I wasn't, my blood markers were always constantly at, the correct levels. And when I look at my reports today, I'm like, okay, my body has been through a lot, but still we are able to kind of get there, that is the number that I'm sticking to. So physically, from a feeling standpoint, also, I would say I feel more confident and more, energetic. And from a report standpoint, medical report standpoints, also things are great. And another thing that I brought it up as a habit for me is to have these regular checks. I never used to do that before. So now I'm consciously scheduling, all of these health markers, check verification, looking at my different screenings or tests or whatever it is. I kind of got that in my planner. It's there, so I get that.
Nice. That's a huge shift in your identity there, Rekha. I mean, somebody who doesn't take care to actually being on top of your tests, right? So, Rekha, I would request if you can share your feedback about your coaching experience and about me as your coach. What did you like the most, and what do you, if you have a few words to say about my coaching skills?
So one thing that I've really liked about all of these conversations, I always have looked forward for these conversations. The reason is it helps me think through. So throughout the week, I didn't get the time to sit and think, I think. So I know a lot of things, even the workout timings and all of that. I've had like conversations with you, like which time would work, how could we do it, what is stopping you from doing it, what is the so when we ask such powerful questions, right, I think through the whole thing end to end, and it gives me a lot more. I think I think a lot during this whole time when I'm having this conversation with you, and that's when I think my grayscales are kind of at the peak. It's like I'm getting creative about food, and creative about getting the protein things sorted out and all of that. And so it was a space for me, working with you. This space actually helped me think through how I can structure this whole thing and how I can plan this whole thing. So I would say this was something that I was always looking forward to. And for someone who wasn't thinking about myself, I think you had helped me think through a lot of things. So I would say all of this, and it was very empowering because it's not coming from a direction of you need to do ABC to achieve ABC. It was more of what do you think you can do, and however small or big it is, it's still acceptable. So I think that sense of calm that you get, right, that's something that you had given me, and I was feeling really comfortable throughout the whole session. Didn't feel overwhelmed. So I think all of that was something that added to the success, I would say.
Wow. Thank you so much for this feedback, Rekha. I mean, it's been absolute pleasure. And I used to look forward to our conversations too. There used to be a lot of laughs that used to happen, right? We used to think about scenarios and brainstorm and come up with ideas, experiment, tweak. So much was going on through the 1 year that we worked together. And, absolute pleasure doing this for you, Rekha. Thank you. I appreciate your feedback. And what might you tell women who are thinking of working with me?
That this is a great space for women to actually, think through and thrive in general. So anything that you have on your mind that is blocking you, or, you think you cannot do it, all you need to do is just bring it up here and it will be done for you. So, any thoughts or challenges, it just need to be communicated, and it is not coming from a directional standpoint. It is not like it's coming from you, and it gives like a lot of confidence that we are capable of thinking so much, basically. So
Nice, well put.
so I think it's more of just bring up, show up is what I would say. For anyone, it definitely will help. Through the program, it will help.
Nice. I love that. Bring up, show up. Nice. More power to you, Rekha. I wish you the best in your journey ahead, and absolutely, stay in touch. Keep me posted
Sure.
about how you're doing, and I would love to hear how you're doing. Thank
Definitely.
you,
I also
Rekha.
wanted to mention about the group, the WhatsApp group. There's a lot of I know I've not contributed a lot. I'm a little WhatsApp shy, so I've not contributed a lot, but I do see, like, when I read about all of these stories that are coming in and a lot of interesting recipes and all, I just get motivated. So every day, being a part of that WhatsApp group has also been very motivating for me. So yes, I will stay in touch, and thank you for having me on the program and helping me out.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Rekha, for the feedback about the group. And absolutely, I mean, whatever you have contributed has been hugely useful as well for the other ladies. And this has been a brilliant, insightful conversation, Rekha. Thank you so much. And I hope a lot of women who watch this are going to be awe-inspired by your journey and feel confident that they too can make this happen for themselves.
Sure.
Just requires a proactive step of taking action and understanding that this may be a very daunting journey, but not impossible, right? It can be done by focusing on simple, small steps and showing up for yourself every day. That's all it takes, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Rekha. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Savidya. Thank you. See you.